A presentation from Irene Talento, who is the co-founder and head of business development at the MEDmeUP, and she's going to speak today on the topic of inclusive built environments. You're very welcome.
Thank you. So, can you all see me and listen to me quite clearly? Is the sound correct? Is the sound right?
It sounds perfect. I can hear you well and I can see you.
Okay, thank you. So, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me today. So I'm going to share my screen to show my presentation. Just a sec. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, so you confirm you can see my screen. I hope everyone who are connected, they are looking at the screen properly and listening to the voice properly. Thank you so much. So my presentation is titled Mediterranean Architectural Cultures, Chronotopic Framework for Placing Regenerative Design at the Core of Mental Health and Wellbeing. And yes, so we are going to talk about very few things, and of course, I hope quite interesting. But of course, this is a very nice and easy presentation. We are not getting too much too technical today, so stay with me. And we are talking about MEDmeUP, who we are, what we do, and why we do it. Mediterranean climate, architecture, and lifestyle, and mental health and well-being, which is something about how try to understand how built environment can impact human health and well-being, and a few things about a couple of case studies.
Perfect. So, sorry to interrupt you, Irene. The view of your screen that I'm looking at looks like it is the login for the conference. I'm not actually seeing your slides.
Yeah, sorry about that. And this is not... and try to... Can you see my slide?
Now I can see slides. Yes, that's perfect.
Can you try to interrupt your if you try to interrupt your sharing screen? Because I have no idea how to do it.
Oh, if the...
I have just one command, which is sharing my screen. Can you probably, if you try not to share your screen?
Apologies. Right now, I'm...
Can you see my slides?
Now I can see your slides. Perfect. Yep, that should be it. That should be working.
So can you see the slides or not?
I can see the slides. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Good to go.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. So you see the slides, Mediterranean Architectural Culture?
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So as I was saying, this presentation right now is something about MEDmeUP, who we are, what we do, and why we do it. Something about Mediterranean climate, architecture, and lifestyle, and mental health and well-being, which is trying to understand how the environment can impact human health and well-being. Case studies and literary review about some case studies that we are going to present. So MEDmeUP is a transnational purpose-driven network of passionate architectural engineering professionals, green marketing consultants, and climate coaches operating across the Mediterranean region and beyond. What the MEDmeUP stands for: Mediterranean, we place the Mediterranean habitat back at the core of the current debate around sustainability and environmental impacts, but also medical, because we strongly believe that the interconnected system of the cultural practices in use in our region can significantly benefit human health and well-being. Our intent is to realign how people understand and relate to the built environment and the natural habitat that sustain us. We are committed to advise, assist, educate, and train our clients, in multiple fields and aspects of building physics, green rating schemes, engineering, and regenerative design. So a few words about me. I'm a co-founder of MEDmeUP and an international MBA candidate and a chartered civil engineer. And I've been working for the European Commission and European Commission funded projects, managing full project lifecycle for a research work across the EU for several years. And then recently, I've served as project lead in research and development for the Saint-Gobain Group in the United Kingdom. Mediterranean, of course, we know is a cultural model, but also includes climate, lifestyle, and architecture. Human-built environment must reconnect with the deep story of place and unique characteristics found in every community, so the story can be honored, protected, and enhanced. This is why when we talk about Mediterranean, from an architectural, cultural, and anthropological point of view, we tend to call Mediterranean as a chronotope or chronotopic, which is pertaining a specific time and place, and is how configuration of time and spaces are normally represented in language and discourse. This word is derived from the Greek chronos and topos, and it literally means time-space. Mediterranean climate is a special type of climate, describes a region of hot summer, both with rain and mid-latitudes. We know that we can find Mediterranean climates across the globe. We have a Mediterranean climate in California, central Chile, Cape of South Africa, and western and south Australia. London could have a Mediterranean climate by 2046. This is our prediction due to the global warming. Mediterranean architectural heritage is about bioclimatic architecture that refers to the design of buildings and spaces in interior, exterior, and outdoor phases based on local climate aimed at providing thermal and visual comfort, making use at the same time of solar energy and other environmental resources. What we learned from the past, from our region, our traditions, that the typical features of Mediterranean building types can be imported in new and present typical and practical examples of sustainable architecture. Mediterranean lifestyle, including a few features that, for example, found evidence of practice of Mediterranean diet could lead to decreased risk of cardiovascular diseases, overall cancer incidence, but also neurodegenerative diseases. To sum up this particular summary, the Mediterranean multicultural identity, architecture, climate, and lifestyle represent a set of skills, knowledge, rituals, and symbols and traditions that the UNESCO listed in 2010 on the representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. So mental health and well-being, regarding to cognitive ability and major depressive disorder, it has been established on a hypothetical point of view, of course, and we needed to broaden out new research studies in the future to consider and to suggest a potential correlation between adherence to Mediterranean climate, diet, and lifestyle, and a slower cognitive decline, including a lower risk of depression, but also improving performance of mental health and also neurodiversity users. Today, when we talk about sustainability, we must consider that sustainability as a concept from an environmental point of view, but also a social point of view, is no longer, and cannot be longer considered only with resources and energy, but must be shifted to a significantly human-centric approach. An holistic approach, which is something that we strongly believe at MEDmeUP, is a means to provide support that looks at the patient as a whole person, not just focusing on mental health symptoms. In the regenerative design, this is something that we are devoted to. We try to implement inclusive strategies, considering physical, emotional, social, and spiritual well-being. How built environment can impact mental health and well-being. These are main building physics performance parameters for architecture design: thermal comfort, acoustics, indoor air quality, siding and structure, visual comfort, and materials. Today, we are only focusing on the main 4 parameters. Thermal comfort, air temperature, air velocity, radiant temperature, relative humidity. All these are factors and environmental factors that can affect the thermal comfort within workplaces, within a confined spaces, so not only at work, but also at home. Other factors, which are quite crucial, influencing thermal comfort are clothing, metabolic rate, and individual perception. And all these factors may vary from person to person. Some design strategies related to thermal comfort to improve the thermal comfort performance within a confined space are including placement of inlets, outlet points, exposure orientation of windows, insulation of walls and roofs. What we are trying to understand from a Mediterranean traditional in terms of architectural design is the effects of courtyard external shading due to trees, fountains, for example, like in the courtyards, and can also be strategically added in the design project. All these features, which are sustainable, natural, and environmental managing, they can affect overall thermal conformance of a space within the buildings, also in the workplaces, and also at home. And this is one example of the use of sustainable materials or recycled materials. They can add, of course, an improved level of thermal insulation within a small office or a small confining space, like wood, glasses, thermal glasses particularly, and solid skin. Acoustics. Building acoustics is the science of controlling noise in buildings. It's divided between sound insulation and sound absorption, which is very crucial, including minimization of noise transmission from one space to another and control of noise levels. All these are characteristics within a small space. Sound insulation. Sound permeation complies with the mass law in acoustics. Sound insulation property of wall or plate depends on its mass area ratio. Therefore, it is better to choose dense and heavy material, like for example, clay brick, reinforced concrete, steel plate, as a sound insulating material. The best way to insulate the solid borne sound is to use an unconnected structure as a system. Sound absorption is typically related to acoustical ceiling tile, like hanging baffle, acoustic hanging baffle panels suspended perpendicularly to the ceiling, and we are going to see a few examples. Acoustic partition also. And of course, the design strategy in this case can be reconfiguring an existing office or an existing workspace or an existing confined space to maximize task-based spaces, retrofitting existing office with absorbing materials to improve acoustic performance. And of course, the return on investment are quite strategic, greater productivity of staff for core tasks, higher staff retention, and reducing cost of staff turnover. And of course, optimized green building ratings, resulting in a higher value from a real estate point of view. And these are a few examples, one of which is ceiling tiles, so related to the ceiling, using recycled and sustainable absorbing materials. These are absorbing walls using absorbing panel of recycled materials and sustainable materials within walls, and also small panels within confined spaces. Visual comfort. So visual comfort is one of the main priorities in design work in living environments. An efficient design of office space should take into account also energy performance and a connection to the outdoor. Regardless of the chemical process in our bodies, there is much that indicates that daylight in rooms increases our levels of well-being. Also mental alertness, affecting potentially ability to perform visually demanding tasks. A few strategies to improve the visual comfort that we need to apply in designing of our buildings. Glare control, avoidance of glare through either the building form or layout, avoidance of the increase of energy consumption for lighting, internal and external lighting levels, zoning and control, which means choose an appropriate illumination levels and quality of lighting in residential occupancies, are also devoted special provisions for rooms where computers are frequently used. And also strategically important is quality views, which means access to exterior views from interior and provision of adequate view so the occupants can acquire a connection with a natural environment. And this is a small example and a very easy example of how when we manage lighting between, for example, artificial lighting and natural lighting within a confined space. Sorry. Indoor air quality is just another aspects and parameter. This is a strategic parameter, especially today in this post-COVID area. All of us spend up to 85% of our time in closed space environments, and this can impact mental health and, of course, the performance of users, but also neurodiverse users, of course. And without the pollutants, the extent of nature or the effects of the health can depend from many factors, including level of exposure and length of time exposed. And this is how can we apply a very small adjustments, very cheap and quite manageable and quite feasible within confined space like workplaces, offices, or private houses to increase the level of the quality of the indoor air. Some partages that we can present today around the visual comfort. The resource is a World Green Building Council. 55% of increase is possible to record in cognitive function scores for workers in a well-illuminated office. Acoustics, 46% of fall has been recorded in staff performance as a result of distracting noise. Indoor air quality, 37% fewer sick building symptoms as a result of improving indoor air quality levels. And more than £28,000 reported in net savings in staff costs in 2015 from fewer building-related sick days, and the source is Skanska UK, a major construction company. 4 major buildings' environmental performance assessment tools and rating systems. We are referring to today LEED, which means and stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, BREEAM, Building Research Established Environmental Assessment Method, FitWell, which addresses health as an interconnected system, and WELL, a performance-based system of the built environment. If we compare the 4 major assessment systems, in case we can see, in this case, how much they perform in terms of reducing waste, pollution, environmental degradation, efficiently using of energy, water, and other natural and sustainable resources, holistic approach to sustainable design, to include inclusion and regenerative design for neurodiverse users, and protecting occupant health and improving employee productivity on overall. At MEDmeUP, we are proud to be FitWell ambassadors, and we are certified against this system. Case studies that we have to present today is something that we want to focus on horticultural therapy, as defined as engagement of a person in gardening and plant-based activities facilitated by a training therapist to achieve specific therapeutic treatment goals. This kind of therapy is a very ancient and is a typical original for the Mediterranean area. As we can see, we record examples from ancient Mesopotamia or Persian culture, and ancient Egyptian physicians in the past prescribed the works around garden for patients affected by mental illness. We support and enhance mental health, but also social health, through not only building design, but also community design. Therapeutic garden is something that complies activities encompassed by therapeutic horticulture. And these activities may include repetitive actions, such as digging and watering, making observation about plant growth and change, or relating plant life cycle to human life. It has been observed in the past that activities such as new growth of the plant can excite the caretaker, building up their confidence and increasing enthusiasm, and also a level of mental health. We tend to work with psychologists and patients together to incorporate multiple perspectives in ways to help. Because we strongly believe with a positive and significantly positive association can be made with a therapeutic culture, and has been observed for a wide range of mental health outcomes, such as, for example, reductions in depression and anxiety levels, stress, mood disturbance, as well as increases in quality of life, sense of community and belonging, physical activity levels, and finally, cognitive function. Therapeutic mental health facilities. This is our project. This is one of the latest. The location is based in Malta. The designer and author of the project is architect and building engineer Luca Caruso, who is also co-founder of MEDmeUP. We can see a plan, and a general plan with all the functions within the horticultural therapy and therapeutic garden are equally distributed along the path. And these are the plan view, and also an on eye level view, and also the view, an overview of the project. This is quite interesting, quite easy and feasible, and it's not something that we can say is so much expensive, especially because it's manageable in confined small facilities and confined spaces. So at the end of the day, you don't have to live in the Mediterranean to learn valuable lessons from the building techniques and architectural designs found there. So in conclusion, we have now the possibility, actually, the chance to make a strong connection among the Mediterranean region, regenerative design, and inclusion. Mediterranean is a new paradigm of health and well-being, which we have demonstrated can be exported outside the region in the form of innovative and inclusive model of regenerative design. Regenerative is enabling social and ecological systems to maintain a healthy state, but also to evolve by monitoring features of the built environment, and also implementing inclusive strategies. Inclusive design refers to both a model and application of processes that are socially, but also environmentally responsible and resource efficient throughout the building life cycles. For future work, we are now focusing on research work for future design application in the artificial intelligence field, including cognitive science for neurodiverse users, partnership and collaborations with universities and research centers worldwide, and establish, finally, a new assessment and green rating scheme, which we want to base on Mediterranean model as a practical framework. These are our references, can be available on our website, and also a major thank you to Timothy Frawley and Ronan McGovern for inviting me today to speak with you. Thank you so much.